Live from the French Quarter, this is Eyewitness News at 6.
The thousands of people out at the fairgrounds may not know his name, but they have felt his impact for 44 years now.
And today brought a special honor for the founder of the fest, who continues to share his love for New Orleans jazz and heritage with the world. Eric Paulson reports.
What's up, boss?
Quint Davis still calls him boss, and the love and respect he has for George Wein is clear 44 years later as these two giants of the Jazz Fest meet up. It was Wein who gave birth to the festival in 1970, recruiting a young Quint Davis and Allison Minor to help.
I asked Alan Jaffe, I need a young guy who knows something about New Orleans culture, about the blues, who'll work for nothing.
That first year, the crowd was just a couple of hundred people in Congo Square. There were big-name acts like Mahalia Jackson and Duke Ellington, but no one could have predicted its future success. They probably wouldn't have predicted this either, the George and Joyce Wein Jazz and Heritage Center.
Educating young people, educating them in jazz, and particularly young people who don't have the advantages of other young people. So this is the perfect circle.
When it opens next year, the center on Rampart Street will house an auditorium, classrooms, and studios. It continues the legacy of giving back to the city he loves and its culture, which Wein made a point to highlight at the Jazz Fest from day one, the heritage in the Jazz and Heritage Festival.
This was something that the world would be interested in. I don't know why I knew that. I just felt it.
George Wein felt it, and the world grew to love it. Now there's a permanent way for the city to keep it alive. Eric Paulson, Eyewitness News.
And money from the Jazz and Heritage Foundation, funded by proceeds from the Jazz Fest, will go toward the construction, along with a $1 million gift from George Wein himself.
From Louisiana's home team, this is Fox 8 News at noon.
The New Orleans Jazz and Heritage Foundation honors the founders of Jazz Fest. Today, the foundation announced its new education and community center will be named after George and Joyce Wein. The building will be the first permanent home to the Don Moose Jameson Heritage School of Music. It's a free program which is operated on local university campuses since 1990. The community center will be named after the Weins, who gave so much to New Orleans when they started the iconic festival.
That he gave to this city, this festival that has contributed billions of dollars to the city of New Orleans and has made it a cultural center of the world.
Construction for the George and Joyce Wein Jazz and Heritage Festival building is set to start in a few weeks.
From Louisiana's home team, this is Fox 8 News at 4 p.m.
New Orleans Jazz and Heritage Foundation brings underprivileged kids the gift of music.
The nonprofit is opening a community center, which will be the first permanent home for the foundation's free music school. The building will be named after George and Joyce Wein. They started the Jazz Fest back in 1970, turned it into a nonprofit that benefits the local community.
That comes not from the love of this festival. That comes from the love of New Orleans and a dedication to educating young people, educating them in jazz, and particularly young people who don't have the advantages of other young people.
Construction on the George and Joyce Wein Jazz and Heritage Center is set to start in a few weeks.
The founders of Jazz Fest were honored this morning in Treme. The New Orleans Jazz and Heritage Foundation dedicated a building to George Wein and his wife Joyce on the front steps of the Jazz and Heritage Center on North Rampart Street. Jazz Fest was founded back in 1970. Joyce passed away in 2005 at the age of 76.